I came across this at the ham radio swap meet this morning, and I kind of stood there looking at it, trying to figure out what it was. And obviously it's a rack mount piece of institutional or professional gear. The seller was kind of looking back at me, and I said, well, what is it? He said, well, it's part of the SIG alert system, and there's actually a very defined thing what a SIG alert is, and I can look that up and put that in the video in a minute or so. But I knew it wasn't part of the SIG alert system, and then I thought, well, maybe it was part of the whole Conelrad civil defense alert system, you know, 640 and 1240 or 1280 or whatever it was. The two little triangles on the AM radio. The price finally came down to a point where I could grant myself permission to take this thing home, basically for the sole purpose of making a video on it. Now, there's not a lot of information online, but I did find some, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. And I'll put a link to the website that the information is on that kind of goes through the different emergency alert technologies in the description of the video. And also make sure you check the description of the video, because more than likely after the video's up for a few hours, somebody with a lot of experience on this thing will post a comment, and I will copy the comment and put it in the description. That way we get an accurate description of what we're looking at. So I found this site when searching on this radio, and here are some screenshots of what I'm looking at. And I'm by no means not giving credit to the website owner or trying to plagiarize their content, and I'm including a link in the description. And it's basically oldradios.com/current/bc_conel.htm. And they talk about here first the Conelrad, and Conelrad was control of electronic radiation, and they talk about was set up in 1951 to provide warnings to the public during the Cold War. And you can read this here. You can pause and read this, or go to the website. And those were on 640 and 1240, and these are a couple of the Conelrad receivers. And basically the way this worked is when they talk about the civil defense triangle circle emblem on 640 and 1240, and they talk about how these work with these two receivers. And basically when it's pretty interesting reading. Anyway, emergency broadcast system, which is this page, continuing down. To replace Conelrad, the EBS system emergency broadcast system was put into place in 1963. Originally, as outline stations were to test weekly, which they still do. I think they do it more often than not now. They were supposed to set off carrier detect receivers by the following sequence, and then in parentheses, and as Conelrad receivers operated on the loss of carrier principle, they were still used for that purpose with the EBS programs. So this is how it worked. Turn the transmitter off for 5 seconds, turn the transmitter on for 5 seconds, turn the transmitter off for 5 seconds. Turn the transmitter on, broadcast 1,000 hertz tone for 15 seconds. This is very interesting, and of course there's my receiver right there, the AA1. And it goes on and it talks about how there was due to a slip-up supposedly in NORAD headquarters on February 20th, 1971 at 9:33, during a regular weekly test period, a false alert was sent out. And didn't we just have something like that in Hawaii? Which, who knows if that was false or not. Anyway, let's take a look at the object here. I mean, who could turn down an AM radio with a S-unit meter on the front of it? Anyway, this was manufactured by Ball Industries, which I believe was located here in Torrance for a lot of years, and they just recently went away. The building got razed, and that was it. So this is the AM Station Selector, and like I said, this is the S meter. Volume. Here's our function selector. Alarm alert. Now what this did is when there was an emergency alert, this was after the Conelrad system, which we'll take a look at that. What this would do is you could put it on alarm mode, and when there was a emergency alert, you know, we're used to those now, the 1 kilohertz test tone. Well, in this era, the transmitter would pulse on and off, and it would cause this thing to activate, and I guess it's like a squelch that would open up and play the emergency alert. So what this is it's basically an AM radio, an industrial AM radio with some extras to it. So it's a three-gang tuning cap, and I wonder if that copper screen was factory or if that was... We have 2 adjustments here, and I can't quite read what that's. Something input. I can't quite read that. But anyway, it does work. We have a big relay down there. Here's our IF. 6BA6. I'm going to assume those are 2... That's a 6BE6? I don't know. What is that? What tube is that? This is a 6AN8. it looks like it's got 2 diodes in it and maybe a pentode. We have a nice fuse here, and I'm not sure what that tube is. And then we have, what is that, 6AQ5? This is a 6AQ5, which is a standard 6-volt television audio output tube. All the color TVs pretty much, well, RCA used. And that's probably, what, a 6AX4 rectifier. And let me pull that one out. This is a 12AT7, which is like a 12AX7 dual triode. I'm not sure what this is for. Probably different accessories, maybe. It's pretty interesting. It's got a B+ test port on the front panel. It's got the alarm sensitivity. And you can see this is probably, to say this is high hours, probably an understatement. This is probably extremely high hour. This probably ran 24/7 from the mid-60s to the mid-80s, or maybe even later. You can see the audio output transformer's been replaced. This does not look like the original power transformer. I don't believe this is original. It's actually got a full fuse. I'm sure this has had, look at that neon bulb down there. I bet this has had an absolute ton of work done to it over the years. This is not your 1995 GE clock, All-American 5 clock radio. This is as industrial and lifetime as it gets. Guess we could I could pop that cover off there and we could take a look. It does work. It has this is the antenna right here. Oh, and by the way, there were a bunch of comments about this lovely carpet on this mobile TV tray. I guess people thought this was my sweater. I don't know, it's pretty entertaining. Yeah, it's kind of like shaggy to the max, but whatever, it doesn't scratch fine items like this. Alright, well, this had 5 different screws holding it on, so it's obviously been, people have been in here. So I'm not sure at all what that is for. There's a nice leaky Cornell Doublier. So there's obviously a lot more going on here than your standard AM radio. There's a coil there, a coil there, and a coil there. And there's a diode there. This is something I will probably never find a schematic on, and I will never understand fully. So that one coil comes through to right here, which that connects to back here, here, which the antenna is connected to that. So maybe this is an antenna trimmer. Wow, there was a plate. There was a plate, and somebody took it off. That must have been the data plate. But I think I found it online. It's an AA1. I have a feeling testing the tubes in this would be comical. They're probably all dead.
Writing is full of verve, flair, and precision. In a film Rolling Stone hails a darkly comic masterpiece.
Take me down and arrest me.
I got nothing to arrest you for.
Not yet, you ain't.
2546-4511. Eso es.
Billboards, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent. For your consideration.
Introducing the all-new Spa Pachanga.
Tim Fryer, the Diocesan Choir.
Children.
This is Mike Sosha, and you're listening to Angels Baseball on AM 830 KLAA.
California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Good afternoon, I'm Rob Archer. Our top story at 1:30, the House Intelligence Committee has released a Democratic memo about the FBI handling of the Trump-Russia probe. They're pushing back on abuses. In-depth team coverage on KNX 1070 News. 131.
CBS News special reports it had been delayed by President Trump, but now Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee have released that memo on the Russia investigation. An earlier memo drafted by Republicans had accused the FBI of being investigation. This new one by the Democrats says the GOP memo is a transparent effort to undermine the FBI and the Justice Department and risk public exposure of sensitive sources and methods for...
So they're all doing something.
He found Broward County deputy officers standing outside, weapons drawn, not doing their jobs.
The 3 deputies from Broward County who allegedly were outside the school were in addition to the school resource officer who also remained outside the school during the shooting. Coral Springs Police Department is a neighboring police department about 3 minutes away from the school.
That CBS News investigative producer, Pat Milton, the school after being suspended. So after a rap video the boy made was discovered, it allegedly mentioned fighting students and shooting a school staff member. This Barrett and Gino concerned
everywhere. I'm the city you're in, so I'm not too surprised by that.
North Oak, Estaic, La Palma, and Yucca Valley. One school safety.
This isn't going to be a very interesting video. I mean, I have no way to really test this thing.
Programs for NRA members. Several rental car companies did the same thing. This comes as hashtag boycott NRA is trending on Twitter. Columbia University.
And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to, if the carrier goes on and off for 5 seconds 3 times, it's supposed to open up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Russia delayed the vote for 2 days, concerned about the wording of the resolution. A bar fight in Whittier turns into a triple shooting, 1 dead. Here's Will Slater.
Checking the San Fernando Valley, Encino, eastbound 101 just before Balboa. Heads up for the broken down truck blocking the left lane. Traffic is slow as you approach. In Los Angeles on the northbound 110 just before Stadium Way, an injury crash. Looks like 2 cars have...
So that's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Stay slow past the 101 into downtown. In Hollywood, your 101 South Drive is slow from Hollywood Boulevard. It stays a super slow ride down to right around Glendale Boulevard. Northbound 101.
So yeah, it actually works. If there was an emergency alert, the station would turn off its transmitter, and then it would come back on with a 1 kilohertz tone that we still have today, except today we have a bunch of digital crap. So that would be like the carrier being turned off.
To rent out his house for Airbnb. That story and more news in 4 minutes. It's 1:37.
I don't get it. You stayed in
So see, as long as the station's there, it'll stay squelched. But the minute the carrier goes away, for 5 seconds,
is licensed exclusively to Marketplace Mortgage, and unlike other grant programs, requires no repayment. Call 888-66-LOW. Call 888-66-LOW-RATE, 888-66-LOW-RATE, or visit America.
Trying to figure out who started the fight and why it escalated.
You can hear the IF is off because I can't center this thing, and I can't find a spot where I don't get the digital sidebands.
It appears several people started shooting at each other with handguns.
LA County Sheriff's Deputy Charles Moore says a man, a woman, and a security guard were all shot. The man drove off in a car but crashed down the street. He died at the scene. Deputies found a gun in the car. The other 2...
It's really deaf. It's like really deaf.
With mortgage experts.
KNX.
Basically, every single one of these stations should peg this meter.
It's your time. Please get to the phone. Join us. Do it for Terry. Do it for the.
I can't even get my classic rock channel here.
When a whole team doesn't make threes like that, it means it's
workflow. For instance, take those pictures. You copy them over to your Samsung device or your phone using the app. Canon, Nikon, everybody has apps. Panasonic. You can then.
Frankly, the Yasiel Puig was not awarded a Gold Glove.
Seems to wake up at the bottom of the band. See, oscillator antenna. Doesn't seem to really do much.
Right now, we're...
선상위에서의 파티.
On this channel, on this radio, to do an alignment, you just put it on a station and use the S meter, right? Let's see, put it on a weak station and...
다른 그림들을 보면 피아노 앞에 있는 소녀들 또 독서하는 여인 그렇게 어떻게 보면 다 정적이에요. 이렇게 막 움직임이 있는 게 아니고 어떤 장면을 딱 포착해서 그 장면의
So what's this one right here?
색상으로 표현했다.
Okay.
신문 기자도 있고 모델도 있고 또 배우도 있고 자기 여자친구도 있고 이런 식으로 실제 사람들의 그런 파티 모습을 그렸는데요. 여기서 재밌는 게 이 사람들의 시선이에요. 그러게요. 시선이 다 어디를 보고 있는지.
Well, that got it cranked up a little bit.
각자
You think is like...
We watched on Sunday.
for details.
It's 1:44 on Southern California's only 24-hour local.
And that's what I would... This is what I would expect KNX to do, to bend the needle and the meters start filling up with smoke.
Special Counsel Robert Mueller.
I have a better...
싶었던 게 둘, 모롱고의 채실 레스토랑 내추럴
There it is.
Great oldies are back on LA Oldies. K-Serve.
And we've been reading these days from the Old Testament book of Ruth. We come now to Ruth.
Para vender el carro. Sí, ese es nuestro...
Turn land of...
한인 최대 규모 최고 의료진
결혼하기 전에. 네, 결혼하기 전에.
We're coming. Georgia, we're coming for you guys.
What's all that that 210?
todavía más atractivo.
Thank you for being there. Well, Angela.
I don't know why anyone...
We're in Milwaukee, we're in the fort.
Our engineering.
Trojans went on a...
Yeah, this is a performance I would expect from it, and maybe even a little bit better. Maybe I could tune that one. So, yeah, the IF. Do I want to dare touch the IF without a signal generator? Guess I could. I want to get off of this, though.
Hide in so much debt, so...
About going... .com. Satisfied.
Ask a refund.
인생 그림. 그 또한 있습니다. 네. 1230 우리
Oh, there's the Beatles. That was
지금까지 크리스찬 문화 아티스트 잔해찬 집사님과 함께.
Yes, the fidelity is great. So let's see if we can This is not the way to do this, children. You should be using a signal generator, but for the sake of entertainment here, let's see what we can do here. All right.
Program.
That's the IF. It was pretty close. Well, close as in peaked, not close as in all tuned to 455.
Out with him? Oh, there she is. Let's ask her. Betty, is that Jimmy's ring you're wearing? Mm-hmm. Gee, it must be great riding with him. Is he picking you up after school today?
Alrighty, 6BA6. 6BE6 55 OK over diode. So not quite there, almost. And this is the other part of the tube, which is whatever. Here's a 6AQ5 audio output. So you can see somebody was taking care of it. The guy did say he used it occasionally. So I think what I'm going to do is, in the video here, it's not been a very exciting video. It's been more of a show and tell, a little bit of alignment. But I think it's a very cool piece, and it's probably pretty rare. And I'm curious to see how many people post their telephone number in the comments asking me if I want to sell it.